Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we had a little synopsis of the 4th year of the war and everything that'll happen in it. That's what these little things are, and they're nice, I think. It gives a quick, easy breakdown of everything that happened in a concise way, and it's not overwhelming you with information. It's just tells you little bits of each little thing. But we're now moving back on to showing you the pictures of that year. Oh, if it wants to focus, it's going on here with the lighting. There we go. It says, he made history in the 4th year of the war. September 1942. Supreme Commander. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of Allied Forces, photographed at his headquarters in North Africa, in front of the British and American national emblems and the 4-star flag of a general of the United States Army. Fresh from his success in Africa and the Mediterranean theaters, this picture of General Eisenhower was taken shortly before his promotion to Supreme Allied Commander-in-Chief, and before he transferred his headquarters to London, from which point he took over the preliminary task of preparing for the invasion of the continent, which was scheduled to come in spring or early summer of 1944. The 4th year opens with all eyes on Stalingrad. September 4th, 1942. Factory workers shoot at raiders. As fighting for Stalingrad reached a terrific climax, the defenders turned every house into a fortified point and every factory into a fortress. When the Germans began their massed air attacks early in September, workers throughout the city formed themselves into auxiliary anti-aircraft units. On September 4th, 49 enemy bombers out of a force of 150 were shot down during a single raid. Pictures shows members of a workers' battalion firing at German planes. Yeah. If your enemy is going to bomb you with planes, well, arm every citizen with a way to shoot those dang things down. And, well, you've got yourself an anti-aircraft formation. And if that's what stops the enemy, then, hey, you did a good job in stopping your enemy. Red Army counterattacks near Stalingrad. On September 4th, the Red Army launched a surprise counterattack to the southwest of Stalingrad, where the enemy had driven deeply into the city's main defenses. In close-range fighting, which lasted many hours, 11 German tanks were destroyed and 600 of the enemy killed. On the same day, the northwest of the city, the Soviets repulsed strong tank attacks with heavy enemy losses. This dramatic picture shows Red Army infantry advancing. You can see we have a sniper and spotter, it looks like. It's either sniper and sniper or sniper and spotter. But yeah, have them together. Make sure they can see the enemy. And then we see up above, or up ahead of them, we see Soviet troops running towards the enemy, ready to take them on wherever they may be. Sorry about that. Heroic Russian resistance and devastating air raid. September 1942. Stalingrad women endure worst aerial bombardment. The weeks of heavy air raids on Stalingrad, which preceded the street fighting, were the most severe experienced by any civil population up to that time. Yet, while buildings were falling overhead, women in cellars and caves from far below the streets were busily occupied on vital work. Here they filed shells and hand grenades for the Red Army soldiers, who were feverishly stemming the enemy's advance. Only between the bombings were they able to crawl up into an open order to get food and water and wood for fuel. Above ground, the nurses of the city carried on calmly, going from one Red Army defense post to another. The pictures show left, German soldiers watching a Stalingrad woman emerge from a cellar. Yeah, I mean, to them, this must have seemed crazy. Think about all these tunnels and caves and things like that, where all these people are just hiding in them, they're still working. So when you stumble across them, you're probably just like, how many people are under there, and what the heck is going on beneath this dang city? And especially if you're the Germans, they're just trying to take the city out, but it just seems like it doesn't want to give up. The spirit of the city is fighting back. And then top right, women searching for belongings after an air raid. Yeah, and this obviously happened like in London as well, with people having to search for their belongings. These people are looking to see if they can find anything of their homes, anything at all. Hoping that they do, because, well, some of those are priceless. And then bottom right, women come up after an air raid. I'm sure they are, but you just look at these people and you're just like, no, yeah, they don't care. They just have the looks on their faces where they're just, like, indifferent to the Germans' full force basically being thrust upon them. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever. As my babushka told me, who cares? The Yanks and the Aussies advance in New Guinea. September 1942. Marching along together. After the failure of the Japanese landing at Milne Bay, Papua, on August 27th, the enemy made an unsuccessful thrust for Port Moresby. On September 10th, the Australians began their advance into the Owen Stanley Mountains on September 28th and recaptured Miola and Kagi without opposition on October 4th, while Allied troops penetrated the Kokoda Gap on the Buna side before making contact with the enemy. Their progress was hampered by the often impassable jungle and torrential rains. Above, Australian and American troops are shown building a road together deep in the jungle. Yeah, if there's not a road, well, then we're going to make one. But yeah, these jungles, there are people that live here, but they've been living here for a long time, and so they understand these a little bit more. When you're trying to move a huge army, it's mechanized, things like that, it's going to slow you down. So you're going to do everything in your power to just get the forest out of the way. Build roads, things like that, because you know what? It'll clear it away. I am curious to wonder if a lot of these roads are still there, and if they are, if they're even used still. I mean, it's possible. These roads were basically put together pretty quickly, but still, they could be useful roads for getting through the jungle, if they're still there. New Guinea jungle conquered by Yanks and Aussies. September 1942. Crossing New Guinea jungle. Behind the news of the Allied progress through the dense and almost trackless jungle of New Guinea lay the splendid work of Australian and U.S. engineers. They performed remarkable feats of road and bridge building under the most difficult conditions. These pictures show, top left, so this one right here, Australian engineers building a suspension bridge over a wild jungle stream. You can see them setting that thing up. Top right, bridging operations near Kokoda in the Owen Stanley Mountain Range. Yeah, once again, I wonder if any of these bridges or any of this stuff is still there, and if it's still used today. If it is, that's really kind of neat that these guys did this. If not, it kind of sucks, but, to be fair, it's been, 1942, it's been about 80-some years, so, actually, it's been about 82 years, exactly, so, is that right? That is right. And then below, American soldiers wading through a swollen river. Yeah, we can see them, gear and everything. And these rivers would be kind of dangerous. You have to make sure you're watching the guy in front of you and the guy behind you is watching you. So if anyone seems like they're going to go down, you got to help make sure they don't, because if they do, that might be it, because a lot of your packs are heavy, things like that. So watching out for one another, I'm sure. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.